Infernal Shrines, ladies, is going to be map number 1 in our best of 3 series here with Dignitas versus Casual Logic Gaming, the Polish team. As I said before, it's basically like Gamers 2, the revived version, the 2.0 version. And for now, Dignitas actually getting rid of Illidan immediately. Keep in mind that on Infernal Shrines, Zul is of course incredibly powerful. We have him played quite a bit. And it's kind of funny, because when Gamers 2 was still around, one of the preferred heroes for them on this map was Sylvanas. And guess who started to play Sylvanas again? So, or in which games at least she popped up once more. It's something that we could see again on their part. For now, Zul is banned out to deny that split push a little bit. And in case that you didn't pick up on it yet, I'm also not alone today. I'm casting again with Tetcher. And we're currently here at the Dreamhack Tour Qualifier. Qualifier number 2. Na'Vi already qualified. Team Liquid already qualified. And today we are going to determine 2 more teams that will qualify for the second European regional final.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. And, well, Casual Logic, in both the games we watched them, seem to be a little shaky in the early game against Alicia, but late game really bring it together every single time. And to start off with Pickwise here, bringing out the Grey main, and I wouldn't be too surprised to see them at least early pick up, or at least early as possible, pick up the Tyrande, because it's really worked well for them so far.
The Tyrande was definitely quite strong. I feel like before the Tyrande changes to Starfall, what I really like to see is something along the lines of a Greymane Tassadar. It's one of the preferred draft openings that we've seen in the global finals in Korea, and I really liked it because it allows you a lot of flexibility towards the later stages of the draft. But now with the changes to Starfall, these double support combos with Tyrande Rhaegar have really picked up a lot of the pace, especially after Celestial Wrath on level 20. The global cast and also, of course, the incredible damage increase there with 30% is just out of this world. The value that you get out of Tyrande in these situations is incredible. And for now, we are not seeing Tyrande yet. Dignitas, on the other hand, is doing something a little bit similar to what I just said. They pick up the Tassadar. They already have the Sonya, so they're going to try and enable the Bruiser here, whereas Casual Logic decided to go into Li Ming over a Tyrande pickup in the earlier stages.
Yeah, which is good for them due to the fact that Nika was on fire when he was playing that Li Ming, including dodging every Stitch's hook with teleport. He got hooked once, I think, the entire game, was just able to teleport away. He was really on point with that. So Casual Logic looking to ban out the Rhaegar, prevent that double support at least a little, because they can take the Uther for themselves.
I'm pretty sure that Dignitas is still going to pick up a second support here, and I'm very curious to see how Casual Logic Gaming is going to do this right now, because, okay, Tyrande, well, the thing is, I was just about to talk about Dignitas going into Tyrande. If they're afraid that the casuals are going to pick her away, then they should ban out, but for now they are looking actually at ETC and Thrall. Both of them would still be ban-worthy too, but I'm a little bit curious to see what's going to happen regarding Tyrande in particular if she isn't banned, and she's not. So right now, who's going to pick her up? And important to me also is that I feel the priority that we see from the casuals on Li Ming is a bit high on this map, because Li Ming has a bit of trouble oftentimes to get good value on the objective itself. So not 100% certain if most of the teams would have agreed with that early priority on Li Ming, even though she is, of course, a great damage dealer. But on this map in particular, I feel there are better options.
Casual have been taking Triumphate basically every single time they've appeared on this map, though, just to try and get that reduced cooldown so they can spam it onto the objective. So they do get the bit of AoE damage to help clear the lanes out of that. But like you said, all her abilities are blockable by the objective as well. So focusing more on clearing and at least getting those minions out the way first is what that talent is going to help with.
Yeah, definitely true. I really feel that has to be a Tyrande pick now, but then you would play her more or less solo, so... Well, I guess you can still play her in a double support role there. You can go for something along those lines. The problem that we have for Casual Logic Gaming right now is if you pick Tyrande, Dignitas picks Uther. If you pick Uther, they pick Tyrande. So this is a really tricky spot at this point where they are in. They have to make that choice, and with a ban on Rhaegar and no counter ban on support, we are going to see Dignitas. I think there's no chance that Dignitas is playing a single support. I really feel they are going to pick either Tyrande or they're going to pick Uther, depending on what Casual Logic Gaming is now going to take here. And they are very well aware of that. So they have to make the choice if they want to have the Divine Shield on Greymane, or if they want to run it with a Mirrodin Tyrande combo for snipes. But that could force them into a single support, unless they are willing to play Tyrande with, let's say, a Brightwing or something else as the last pick. Even a Karazim would work, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Karazim would be quite nice as well, just due to the palm on the Greymane. So that could work out nicely. They pick neither. They don't pick Uther or Tyrande. They give either one of them over to Dignitas, and instead pick up the Kharazim for themselves.
I hate that pick.
So do I.
I hate everything about it.
Like, they could have picked Uther for Divine Shield or
Don't get me
for
wrong.
damage, and then picked up Kharazim as their last pick, and instead they pick up Kharazim first.
I'm a huge Kharazim fan. I
Same.
feel especially his hairstyle is absolutely spot on. But in this case, I really feel that they would have fared way better picking up either Tyrande or Muradin. And right now, Dignitas, they could go into a Leoric here, even though personally I would have expected them to use, well, maybe the ETC even, which they could do. If they go ETC plus Tyrande at this point, they have a great option in the early game to go for lockdown. And Diablo would work as well. Diablo Tyrande, ETC Tyrande, I would really like to see that. Dehaka Tyrande works too.
Yeah.
Like, any of these tanks have the ability to just like go in, go for CC, and then start to really start a CC chain and enable Sonya plus Falsa to dish out the damage. Uther would enable Sonya in particular. That's the second option. We've talked a little bit about it already. And they go for the Uther version over Tyrande. That I'm not 100% certain if I like
could
that
pick
either.
up Tyrande.
Yeah, because now Casual Logic Gaming can pick Tyrande.
A Nubarak.
No way.
I'm trying to wonder what you'd do with that. I guess Cocoon for Kharazim?
I mean, right now I'm really, really wondering if Dignitas is desperately... I would like
that makes more
Diablo a little
sense.
bit more.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, I could see something behind the Anubarak. Like, yeah, you could take the Locust Swarm and get some decent area of effect in the team fights. But overall, I'm not too happy. You're against Lee Main, you're against Greymane. Anubarak, not the tankiest of warriors. Kael'thas from Casual Logic, I would very like that pick.
I would like it too. I don't really like the way that we ended up in this situation, on the other hand. I really feel that on the part of Casual Logic Gaming, it was a mistake to go for Kharazim. I really feel they should have gone for either Tyrande or for Uther. For Dignitas, both of the healers would have been great, but I still believe that in their situation, with now the increased damage on the Starfall, it would have been more beneficial to go into Tacita and Tyrande than Tacita Uther. Uther is going to be great, and together with Tacita, it's a nice option to keep Sonya alive in these fights. But if you plan on going into Diablo, into Dehaka, into any of these heroes, even in ETC, I believe that going for the Tyrande would have given you more value, since you have the early snipe potential. You can really start to punish heroes that go through the choke points at the shrines very hard by using Diablo and then the stun on Tyrande. You can do a similar thing with Uther, granted, but you don't have the extra damage. And Tyrande with a Starfall has an amazing heroic ability on the shrines themselves. And with any kind of double support, being it like Uther Tacita or being it Tyrande Tacita, the survivability of Sonya increases tenfold. So I really think that for Dignitas, Tyrande would have been stronger on this map in particular, and that's why I think Casual Logic Gaming also made a bit of a mistake with that Kharazim pick. So I feel like the last two picks on both sides are a little bit weird. We have both of them now with great combos, don't get me wrong, but I really feel they had much stronger synergy available to them that they could have picked up here.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really not happy with this kind of thing. I think they could definitely make it work. The AoE healing is gonna be nice for them, but I don't know.
I feel the combo that they end up with is good. Like,
Yeah.
I just believe that them going into a Murder in Tyrande, for example, would have given them early game snipe, and then they could have still like gone into hero on the late game. It really feels like they said, to me, it looks a little bit like they said, hey, we're kind of screwed either way, but we're going to go into a Kharazim and play a bit of a different style right now by focusing on our front line instead and putting Dehaka in next to Muradin, or if Dehaka's picked away, a second tank. So I guess that was a little bit the thought process behind it. And they ran the clock down. You could really tell that they thought about this a lot, because they realized that they had some problems coming up once the Dignitas secured themselves a second support.
All right, you need to get in here because we're in Hero Select. Just
all right, I'm going to jump in a moment, guys. So Dignitas versus Casual Logic Gaming, game number 1 here on Infernal Shrines. The first game in the Best of 3 series starts on Infernal Shrines, everybody. We have Dignitas going up against the Casuals here at the Qualifier for Dreamhack Tour. And to the left side of the map, it is Dignitas with Bakery on Uther, JPL on Diablo, Mene is playing Falstad, we have Wubi on Sonya, and Snitch on Tacita. And to the right side of the map, the Polish team with Chechu on Dehaka. We have Leo from Poland on Karazim, Zhuf on Muradin, Kreku on Greymane, and Nika again on Li Ming. Strong lineups for both of the teams. Turanda this time actually completely disregarded during the draft. And I'm pretty curious to see how especially Dehaka is going to come through in this game right now. Once again, we see him in a match, and it is on level 1, the primal aggression, as we're already used to.
Yeah, not too surprising there. He is just so useful in that split pushing role, so the extra method of killing minions is just too useful there. So for now, we are seeing both teams hanging around in the mid lane, waiting for the minions to arrive so that they can begin the group up. We see a small minion block from Dignitas, not really a huge one, but it does give them well, a couple pixels worth of advantage there. Dehaka getting flipped, not into tower range though, JPL having to pull back.
Yeah, JPL already starting to move to the top lane to deal with Sonya, who rotated up a little bit earlier here. Down to the bottom of the map, we are still seeing this rotation with 4 heroes between mid and bottom, so both of the teams are trying to secure experience and attempt to take a hero down if they get the chance to. One of the things that's definitely going to happen here, and well, the threat is always there that Diablo jumps in and you get the double stun of Zhuf already jumping out, and that was a very scary moment here for him. Muradin can be blown to pieces by all these stuns as well.
Yeah, they need to be very careful indeed. Right now, XP almost exactly equal for both teams. No kill on either side, but Zhuf looking to change that, trying to catch out Bakery. Instead, just going to help clear the minions as Bakery was able to get to the other side of his.
Yeah, Shehu is already up at the top, trying to go for a lick against Sonya. Trying to use the drag here, but, well, Wubi was outside of the range. So, Dehaka is really a fun character. I mean, one of the things that you can always do is just, like, jump into these bushes around the shrine and go to lane a little bit later, so that you have, in this case, a bit more experience for your team. One of the maps where he can be really strong is also, well, Dragonshire, for example, when it comes to the shrine fights. We've seen him a lot on also, like, Cursed Hollow. Overall, just a great hero that Blizzard introduced into the game. And, well, Diablo, on the other hand, not so terrifying in the early game at this point, because he's the first victim of this match.
Yeah, he is first blood, had nowhere near enough souls, but it's too early to matter. He will be back and be able to join his team for at least defending one of the lanes, because right now, Dehaka has been left alone in the top lane, and that's just going to allow Casual Logic to slowly creep ahead. But Wubi giving his team a big head start on these demons. But the nice group up there with Zhuf grouping up the demons and Li Ming just blowing them up with the Arcane Orb.
And Shattered Ground has been taken for Wubi, so already catering. Oh, nice lick against him, dragging him in and taking him down. Wubi with a Shattered Ground for the extra AoE, but it doesn't do him any good in this situation. Dehaka already with great value for the team.
Yeah, very nicely done there. Dehaka, like we said before, has just been outstanding recently, although no skin, so I automatically will judge him. But for now, he's just going to tunnel to the bot lane and get ready to soak against Maida, who's been attempting to use his global presence to soak XP for his team, which has actually kept his team equal in XP, but if they can get a tower or two out of this Punisher, they will begin to creep ahead.
I have to admit, though, that the normal skin for Dehaka isn't too bad. I mean, of course, like, going for the Bumblebee version is pretty awesome, but the normal one is pretty solid.
Yeah, I like the normal one. He does have one of the most disappointing master skins, I will say. Like, not enough is changed there. It's quite hard to do with a hero with that design, but I would still like to see a bit more exaggerated stuff.
Blizzard has done an incredible job disappointing me with Master Skin, so I'm not really surprised by that.
There's so many good ones, though.
Sorry?
There's so many good ones, though.
Yeah, there are a couple that I find really amazing, but a lot of the heroes that I actually like to play have very disappointing Master Skins, where I'm always looking at him like, meh, I really want to buy it, I have the gold, but I'm not willing to just, like, use 10,000 to buy that skin, which basically changes nothing.
The Falstad, my Griffin's going to put on a coat and I'm going to get a Mohawk skin.
Yeah, for that's a very good example. Like, on Falstad, you have the Buccaneer, so the Carry Pigeon is one of my preferred ones. Whoa, kill against Tassadar in the middle of here.
Yeah,
but
he got very blown up there, and as such, the mercenaries will die quickly too.
Yeah, but overall, like, the Master Skins, I find they could really rework a few of those, and then I would happily spend the gold. But, of course, we have a couple of really sweet skins overall in the game, I have to say. Space Lord Leoric, hell yeah.
Yeah, the legendary skins, every single legendary skin has been pretty on point in how cool they are.
Well, we have, for now, cooler reduction again with the Symbiosis taken on level 7. I feel like, at this point, the build on Dehaka has pretty much been established for competitive play. We see a few adjustments on level 4 every now and then, when you can either go into the Hero Stalker or you go into the talent that gives you the increased essences with minion stacks overall. So it depends a little bit on how you plan to use it here. Later on 13-16, there's a couple of adjustments that you can go for as well. But overall, it's a very stable build for the hero.
Yeah, definitely agree. It works well, works for everything that Dahaka needs to do, and that is he tanks well enough on his own with the essence, especially if he can get a kill in a fight, and then he gets a big chunk of essence, so he can get a lot of healing. He's still able to engage as he has a CC on his base kit. Needs to be careful here, though, getting speared, but he just pulls in Bakery. Bakery gets shielded by Tassadar, though, and they're not only able to back up, they're also able to grab the tower.
Yeah, tower is down, but at the top lane we still have Greymane going for the first stacks here. It's really that level lead that we're currently seeing on the side of the casuals that gives Dignitas so much trouble, because that level 10 is going to hit soon. And once it does, they have no chance to actually go for that Punisher. It's only the second one, so it doesn't matter too much for them yet. They will get experience thanks to the push at the bot lane. But here's the level 10 now with the isolation on Dehaka. We're also seeing the Palm and Disintegrate plus Avatar. Greymane going for the throat, of course, once again. And he has a very significant amount of stacks already at the top lane. Kreku is doing solid work here.
Yeah, 31 out of 40 right now, so he's going to be able to get his base on his own. Leo coming up just for a little assistance, but it is not required. Dahaka back down in the bot lane for soaking XP. Muradin and Tas soaking against each other in mid.
Lightning Breath has been taken here once again. The Mighty Gust with the prolonged cooldown now on 60 seconds instead of the 40 that we had before the patch. Wrath of the Berserker, also the Force Wall on Tassadar, and the Punisher baited in, of course. One of the most crucial things to do on this map, that once the Punisher approaches your gate, you always move behind it so that the Punisher is baited in and can be obliterated. If you don't do that and he stays outside of the gate, then you will lose so many more structures. So smart move by Dignitas here, absolute standard by now, and they do really well with this.
If you don't do that in your own My Hero game, My Hero League games, I officially hate you. This is something that everyone should know right now. And like you said, it is a standard and a very essential move to controlling this map.
Yeah, I'm still trying to educate people when we have our casts, but unfortunately it seems that every single time I end up in Hero League, I end up with people that don't watch my videos.
Or just don't watch esports.
Exactly.
Just like Gazo's better than right now, right?
No, I'm gonna move out. I'm gonna face him early.
We need to kill him before he gets to the buildings. No,
die, Punisher, die! And then they get jumped and blown to pieces, and you're left with the scraps. You're just like, oh, why me?
Yeah, you just have to wait at your keep, just like, well, now I guess they'll just kill all my stuff now.
Well, talking about killing stuff, we have in the mid lane another camp that has just been claimed, and that's pushing slowly in. Juve is trying to take care of the counter camp that has been claimed a bit earlier, so they will attempt to just like push this in a bit more. The wall is already gone, so they're going to go straight for the fort itself here. But with the level 10s now around, the next few team fights are of course going to be very, very different. In Heroes of the Storm, you always have their early game until level 10, and then once the hero abilities are in play, you oftentimes see a very different match where team fights are much more coordinated in the sense that you are trying to get the synergy off between your hero abilities and the combos.
Yeah, exactly. So for now, both teams are just soaking up, waiting for that objective so they can get their synergy. Snitch getting dragged by Shickle, but not enough, and actually able to dodge the isolation as well. So that is now on the 60-second cooldown right before the shrine spawns.
Yeah, a little bit weird that they would be willing to commit to the cooldown here, but of course they had the hope that they could kill a target before the shrine spawns. That wasn't really the case now. We are still having both of the teams slowly starting up with those shrines, but again, Dignitas not facing music here. They know that they have a disadvantage because their level 13 isn't ready yet, and they attempt to get the wave clear before that happens. Dehaka, on the other hand, at the bot lane is being attacked
really
and
there?
gets out.
Not the best place to tunnel to. If Tassadar had used Oracle, he might have actually been able to spot him. They might have been able to chase him down. But either way, he gets out. He got stopped from tunneling out once by the spear, but then they were just out of CC.
Yeah, Dignitas is going to lose another Immortal here. Sorry, another Punisher. Level 13 versus 13, and Giant Killer has been picked up by Falstad now. But we are seeing still a situation in which we can have the Polish team pushing in the mid lane, and they are splitting their heroes. Again, on all of the lanes, a heartbeat on every single lane to secure them additional experience and bring them even farther ahead. Greymane is moving in. Dehaka could go into a bush here. They want to have at least a fort, and with an Arcane Punisher on their side, that should definitely happen.
Yeah, they know it's a 5. They knew that there were 5 minutes of Dignitas there, so Kreku came down just in case a turnaround happened from Dignitas, and also in case they were able to do this and try and get some damage off onto someone. We'll be able to back out though, but once again, Casual Logic Gaming come out with the XP lead thanks to Dehaka in the bot lane and taking down that fort.
Yeah, the Haka with the Whirling Dervish here, so he is going to be able to use that, well, pseudo-relentless, so to say, and that's going to help him with survivability. And talking survivability, we have actually Sonya really dedicating a lot of her talents right now to survivability, not only the Ferocious Healing on level 7, but in this case also on 13 the Spell Shield. So really showing a lot of respect for Li Ming and also Greymane.
Yeah, she wants to be able to stay alive in these fights, and it makes a lot of sense due to the fact that a couple duels have happened in the top lane between Greymane and Falstad, and the full Greymane combo minus ult was able to half health Falstad. So it makes a lot of sense that Sonya should be worried about that and wants to get as much sustainability as possible.
Yeah. 3 kills against 0, by the way, in favor of casual Logic Gaming. And they have a couple of heroes still at the bottom in the middle for experience, but there's a huge approach at the top lane where we're seeing Dignitas with an attempt to go for a 5-man gank, but it was already sniffed out by the Polish team and they moved back immediately, did not open themselves up for one of these early kills.
Yeah, they don't want to get picked off here. Shihu still down the bot lane, and I would like to point out, despite how long he's been down here, he still hasn't actually killed a tower. He's just been pushing the lane up and grabbing minions.
Yeah, top lane, Mena with the siege damage here, boomerang build of course, Shihu at the bottom still stalking through the bushes in this case, and with a level 16 talent we are seeing him with the long tongue, so for the extra drag range on the lick. We're having also Circle of Life plus Stone Form, good survivability, kill against Tassadar, at the same time aggression up at the top, Tassadar already down, Kureko survives, JPL moves top, everybody else is joining the fun right now as the Haka is attempting to go for Mena, Leo moves in, Juf is there, can go for the Stormbolt, uses it against Diablo, they're attempting to blow Wooby away, but there's the quick ult on Falstad using his ability to just like push everybody away once again. So good job, well done, but the problem still remains. It's a 5 versus 4 as we're seeing another Shrine active on the map and the level 16 talent for the casuals.
Yeah, Dignitas did a great job saving each other here, but like you said, Tassadar was just pulling up too quickly, got hit by an Arcane Orb, and the Greymane from the bush gave a good surprise amount of damage. Tassadar was blown up. For now, Shihu just soaking the top lane. However, he is in some trouble. Here is everyone. He's on the run. A lot of crowd control is being used on him right now, and he goes down. But that is an immediate forfeit on the Punisher by Dignitas, so instead they're going to grab some towers before they go to defend.
Yeah, they're going to go for the towers here. That fort of the bot lane, of course, is going to fall now that the Punisher has been taken. But with level 16 that they finally... I mean, the kill against the Haka was the best thing that they could do. They didn't really have a chance to go for the Punisher either way because, first of all, at the start of it, they were lacking Tassadar. Then when he was back, they still didn't have level 16 talents. The kill against Shihu up at the top was great for them. But now, in this situation, they're still losing the fort at the bot lane. It's additional experience for the casuals. 4 kills against 1. But both of the teams are at least on the level 16 talent by now.
Yeah, so we are seeing them on even talents looking to take anything right now. Bakery using that Divine Shield preemptively as everyone was beginning to close in on him, protecting himself there and putting that cooldown on cooldown as quick as possible so it can come up before the next objective. Able to take down the Punisher, only losing another fort. They are still only a single level behind.
Yeah, single level behind, but they lost a lot of structures and they haven't taken a single fort out yet. So that's a bit of a problem in these later stages of the game as well. They're only 13 minutes in so far, but the Haka is back to business, attacked again, being immediately about to snipe here, using Burrow already. Everybody else is moving up to the top, trying to help out here. Here comes immediately Karazin with a quick dash and already the ult on Diablo being used. Shihu is a little bit low, might get Pam, there it is. Moves away though, is being saved. Diablo is dead, but he has enough souls. He's going to be back in just a couple of seconds.
Yeah, but without him here, Dignitas can't continue this attack. So this is still technically a 1-for-0 in favor of Casual Logic Gaming. Very nicely played by them. Snitch getting chunked by that Arcade Orb. And Greymane already up in the top lane soaking the XP.
Greymane doing his thing here, taking the wave down. The Haka is moving in as well. Shihu is just all over the place so far, and he's one of the preferred targets for the opponent too. Camps, of course, are up on the map again, and in this case, it's a Bruiser camp that they are focusing on. We are seeing Dignitas taking a few of the camps at the bot lane now too, and they are attempting to at least snipe one of the forts, and there's really not a whole lot that the casuals can do about it. It's only Juf at the bot lane at this moment.
Yeah, he's just hovering around right now. Like you said, there's nothing he can do to stop this, so he's just here at this point, waiting for his team to arrive, which they have now done. Nice done onto JPL there, interrupting the charge. So We are seeing Dahaka continuing to split push top lane, but he can obviously tunnel into a bush if he needs to. But it looks like Dignitas, they are done here. They're going to pull back, steal some mercenaries. But because of this, they are taking a lot of damage on that top fort.
Yeah, and the fort is going to fall. There's a camp pushing with the Haka as well. That's extra experience. They might even be able to go close to level 20 with this. Muradin, on the other hand, finds himself in trouble. The palm could be used, and wow, that was a close call there. Good palm on the side of Leo, able to save Muradin. Of course, now a 60-second cooldown on the palm. But up at the top lane, we've seen that fort being eliminated, and now the camp is starting to push towards the keep, which is going to force at least Falstad back for Dignitas.
Yeah, Falstad will be able to clear this. He's actually, no, he's just going for a fountain. Not even going to go, there we go, he is going to go clear. This was just taking a little bit. But Dignitas still managing to get a bit of a head start on this. Dahaka still not there with his team. Greymane and Li Ming still a little bit out. But Dignitas don't have vision of Greymane and Li Ming, so they did not know. So instead, they are just going to retreat up to the top lane and regroup up as 5.
And they cannot fight for this anymore. This level 20 is available, and that means Dahaka with a hardened shield over the Apex Predator. Storm Shield has been taken, Hardened Shield on the side of Muradin as well, the Hunter's Blunderbuss and the Temporal Flux have now all been picked up on the side of the casuals. They are playing a great game against Dignitas here. Dignitas finds themselves over and over in a situation where they cannot fight for the objective, and this is one of the main reasons why they are falling farther and farther behind in this game.
Yeah, they are really struggling here, really struggling to get a decent fight out of this. And that is, like you said, another Punisher coming in for Casual Logic Gaming, which looks like they are going to group up on Dahaka. Either going to tunnel down to the bot lane to split push that, or top lane to clear it, but it looks like instead he is just going to join his team. They're going to go for the full 5-man push, try and make the most of their 20s, and either get some kills or try and get the keep. Chico gets the tug, but nice cleanse from Bakery, saving Whoopi there.
Yeah, the keep, of course, is going to be attacked right now. The Mighty Gust saves, for now at least, Dignitas. And we are actually seeing the casuals not pursuing this anymore. They have only put a little bit of damage against the keep, not too much at this point. And Dignitas is starting to slowly and steadily creep towards level 20, where they will finally be able to fight on even talents. A bit of a trap set up at the bottom, but so far, nobody falling for it.
Yeah, no one falling for it at the moment. Just waiting for it. They have a mercenary camp to do next to them if they get really bored, but right now, nothing really happening. There you go, they've given up. Just nothing happening. And just in time, looks like Whoopi's thinking about heading down there.
Yeah.
Yep, just in time.
Starting to move over, but it's a bit too late for that. The 20s are there, though, and now we have the Hellstorm ready. Redemption plus Epic Mount, and also, of course, Ignore Pain for Sonya. And in the case of Tassadar, he actually went straight for the Force Barrier, instead going for a potential Storm Shield.
I like this Force Barrier, really going to prevent Greymane from getting out in a lot of situations, as he is one of the heroes that he wants to kill the most. So they're going to have to... Greymane's going to be very careful where he positions. There's the silence onto Sonya, but her team is already here, so she will be safe, and that puts the isolation back onto that cooldown. 50 seconds left. So Dignitas have a small window of time that they can try and make something. In comes the fly from Falstad, used the Mighty Gust, but they can't really follow up on it. JPL doesn't have enough health, and Dignitas weren't close enough to be able to make anything out of it.
Yeah, it was a decent attempt, but Mena did not hit that properly. So right now, where is the Haka? Moves in. Uh-oh, finds himself isolated and immediately attacked. But there is, of course, the heal. He uses his trade. Now comes the Hellstorm. And that is actually not a lot of value that JPL got out of the Hellstorm here. The casuals are going to be very happy about burning that cooldown away.
Yeah, they tanked that really nicely. Even Storm Shield wasn't used by Kerosene. Didn't need it. So very nicely done there. And as such, Hellstorm, 40 seconds before that is back up, whereas Isolation up in 2 seconds, so it will be ready for a subjective fight or for a gank right now.
3 cooldowns have been burned by Dignitas, and that's a big problem. Even the Mighty Gus is going to be not ready for another 5. And here's the Shrine, it's active, they can go for it. Shihu is already down here, trying to deep push a little bit. The first minions are going to be taken, and here comes once again JPL. There's another 17-second cooldowns on the Hellstorm. The attack attempt, but disintegrate against Diablo. In comes Greymane with a kill against Diablo, and he is down for the count.
Yeah, now we think Bakery getting focused, but he's able to pull back, join up with his team. Nice cocktail, though, doing a lot of damage to Mena and Snitch. Whoopi also being chased, but in comes Juve over the wall, trying to pick off someone. Nice slow and stun by Mena, and that gets Snitch out of range of the stun. Very nicely played there.
Yeah, well done here, but of course with Diablo dead and him being the only real tank for his team, we are still seeing an open shrine, and how many shrines have actually been won by Dignitas? I believe it was one, right? One single Punisher that they got over the duration of the game. So far, the casuals are doing an amazing job when it comes down to objective control.
Yeah, the Dignitas really struggling this time. Casuals really making this work. They didn't even take Triumph Fate like I thought they would earlier on. Instead, the Charged Blast, giving that extra auto attack damage, so getting a lot more single target focus out of this build.
Talking about damage for a moment, we have Li Ming with 120,000 siege damage and 58,000 hero damage. These disintegrates have been doing solid work. Greymane still with 44k. And when we're looking on the side of Dignitas, and we have Diablo actually, thanks to the Hellstorm, on 39,000. They're really struggling to get their kills in. Only one kill in 20 minutes on their part. They had 6 heroes die. And again, the casuals are starting to push in the bot lane here, trying to aim for the first keep of the game.
Yeah, they're beginning to move in, put some pressure on Muradin. Just hiding right now, trying to work out whether he can engage it. There's the drag onto Wubby, but Wubby just tanks it out. Mighty Gust already used, so Dignitas using that time to kill the Punisher and the Force Wall to slow down the re-engage of casuals. So right now, Dignitas just avoiding a fight until they can take a preferable one. They're under keep, they took a little bit of damage from the huge harass that we are seeing from the casuals, and now they're going for a fight.
Dignitas wants to go for it, but Muradin jumps out, and everybody for the casuals was still ready for this battle. I have to give it to some credit to Dignitas, though. Every single time, mainly thanks to that Mighty Gust and also the zoning tools that they have, they're able to avoid taking too much damage after an Immortal, or after a Punisher. I mean, think about it. That's 20 minutes into the game. And the Punisher is already pretty strong, but they still have not lost the keep. The casuals are just not simply able to capitalize properly on taking the objective every single time, because Mighty Gust and the huge burst on the Punisher is just taking the objective down so fast that they're not able to get any structures out of it. So for the casuals, this is a little bit of a problem. For Dignitas, it's a great defense, though, that they have here.
Yeah, they have been doing a good job with this. One of the important things that Dignitas do very much need to do right now, though, is get Diablo into a lane with some minions. In fact, he only has 68 souls. Now he's finally able to pick up some more, up to 75, but he needs to get that 100 soul count again before the next fight so that he is ready to get in there and help his team out with the maximum amount of efficiency he can.
Now we have at the top lane, in this case, Dehaka again pushing lanes back, and I mean, this is one of the important things for him to do, to really get the vision for them. His siege damage is insane, 134,000 by the way. Like, it's 3 heroes on their setup that have incredible siege numbers. It's Li Ming, it's Greymane, and it's also Dehaka. All 3 of them have just an incredible ability to push lanes back, and they do that constantly for the entire time. Again, a shrine about to be activated, and this time, all of the cooldowns are ready for both teams. So there's a huge chance that this fight is at least finally going to result in a keep going to be taken out.
Yeah, and Dignitas will have time to not only kill off this minion wave / mercenary camp, but they're going to have 1 soul short of 100 actually for JPL, so he dies here. That could be catastrophic. He is being kept alive though, but he needs to find a way to get a soul.
Yeah, they are starting to move away again. JPL without a soul confirmed. Juve moving in, Shihu as well. They're trying to go for maybe a lick against Sonya, not hitting it though. Shihu already using his trade to heal himself up. Juve is low, needs to activate his trade, he's trying to, but we have Dignitas in position on the shrine already. The big advantage here for Dignitas, or the disadvantage for Dignitas, is that we have the casuals still with a well up in the mid lane, so they can simply move in, get hit points and mana back, and go straight for a refight. The reset here happening for them. Diablo is down. He got that soul earlier, so now he's at least going to revive. But we have the Mighty Gust being used from Maina to try and save the rest of his team.
Will be doing some amazing damage with that Whirlwind, but because of that Mighty Gust, he has basically been disengaged. Everyone's been split up, so he can't get a Whirlwind on a huge amount of them. Snitch now getting focused, but Wubby's been able to tank all this up in time for JPL to return. The Divine Shield used on Sonya. The Force Wall, though, blocks him out a little bit, but Wubby getting focused down, still alive, though, finally gets picked off, and now Li Ming getting resets, and everything dies.
The laser show has started as Li Ming gets reset after reset and goes for 1 kill after another. And at this point, the casuals, they are finally done with this. They are saying we need to do something. But the Punisher was actually taken by Dignitas. They got the Punisher, but they lost 2 heroes. They're losing a 3rd. And this is the moment where the casuals are saying, guys, we finally have to do some damage here. And they are moving into the bot lane right now to take down the keep. And with those death timers, they could aim even for the core.
Mighty Gus just came off cooldown. It is him and Bakery left to defend this. They're throwing out everything they can. Bakery very far forward. Needs to be so careful against Shickle here. Maynard backing up a huge distance. Nice dodge by Bakery here. Just in the backline, being a bit distracted as possible because the core is under fire. Li Ming just dropping all the damage she can. The core taking huge amount of damage. Bakery gets silenced. Maynard tried to do it, but it doesn't look like it will be enough.
No, that's definitely not going to be enough. The damage output is too big. The game is over, and Dignitas on game number 1 gets taken out by a bunch of casuals. CLG is able to take the lead in the best of 3 series. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, game number 2 is starting up. Tomb of the Spider Queen. We have Casual Logic Gaming in the lead in this series here at the Dreamhack Tour Qualifier. The qualifier for the second regional final for Europe, and Dignitas is actually down 1 game. They ban out Tassadar here, but the first ban is against Zeratul. So apparently Casual Logic Gaming here with a bit of a Zeratul phobia. Can't really blame them, especially if you play Li Ming, then of course you don't really want those Warple Blades to be used against you. But that also leaves, in this case, Illidan open. Tomb of the Spider Queen, not the best Illidan map right now, but some of the teams have even played him here, since he is just such a great asset to have right now. But interesting bans here already. Even the Tassadar early ban trying to work towards deny on the double support.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. So we will see what Dignitas are able to up here. Kael'thas very early, by the looks of it, being hovered over, giving Maynard that hero that he really, really enjoys playing. And then it's just a question of what they want as their second pick. Like you said, heroes that have been are available this time. Durana's been left open, but she's usually picked a bit later. Illidan has been left available if either of the teams want to pick her up, but it's Johanna being hovered over and taken by Dignitas.
Okay, there's a lot of things to work for this. Johanna can be played with Reinforce now on level 1. It's incredibly powerful if you're the solo tank. Of course, the wave clear that we have on Tomb of the Spider Queen usually leads still into Night Take Spawn. We have her with the opportunity to go into also the Falling Sword now after the talent was buffed by Blizzard recently. So this is actually like a pretty cool start already with Kael'thas being picked, so we might see one of the 2 builds that are currently being popular. He's very popular on the North American server in particular. They have left a few heroes for Casual Logic Gaming on the other hand, and one of them is Greymane. Greymane with nice damage output and siege damage, but also that finisher that you oftentimes need in your team fights, and therefore we have him picked up immediately. And right now we're really coming back into this scenario where you have to think a little bit about the wave clear overall. Zul, Zagara, Sylvanas, great heroes for their case, but the frontline is also missing for Casual Logic Gaming. So this is a very different draft, catering very much towards the map itself.
Yeah, definitely going more for that poke and burst, which worked well for them last game, but the Zul giving them that little bit of split push potential and just the pushing potential in general, as opposed to the double tank lineup that they ran with last time.
Yeah, and the Zul would definitely work for them here too. But right now, of course, the question, do they really want to commit to Zul in this particular setup? They would have a bit of lockdown, of course, thanks to the Bone Prison as well. They can work to isolate Kael'thas if they get close enough, and they are trying to play exactly that style. Going away a little bit from the double support here, we're definitely not going to see it happen for the casuals. We might see it on the side of Dignitas still, but they haven't really committed to any kind of hero that would benefit from it highly. And we could still see a Sonya, I suppose, on their side, or a Thrall, but right now they have a setup that allows them to dish good damage out from the backline. They are going to try and keep Kael'thas safe, so I could definitely see them heading into a second warrior too.
Yeah, definitely possible. Casual Logic have shown all of their damage in here, so their last 2 picks have to be the support and the warrior. So Dignitas knows exactly what they have to defend against. So the Muradin banned out. That is the warrior that they are most afraid of facing, because good jump onto Kael'thas, good stun from that, could put him in serious danger of getting killed off by cocktails and magic missiles. But yeah, they're basically able to tailor most of their composition against the damage of Counter Logic now.
And with the ban that we're seeing for Casual Logic Gaming, this is one of those scenarios where it's really tricky to go for a decent ban here. There's nothing really that comes to mind immediately where you say alright, they're going to aim for this particular combo, which you oftentimes see with an early pick on a melee assassin or a bruiser, where you know they are going to try and draft double support for this. Right now, they ban out Falstad. They had a couple of options here. If they would have been afraid of a Thrall going up at the bot lane against Zul or Zagara, they could have gone for the ban here. As Thrall isn't banned, Dignitas is immediately looking to pick him up in this case now. And he is definitely going to be a great asset for their team in this scenario here. So I wouldn't be surprised if they confirm that hover that they have at this point. They still need a little bit of damage from range, I would say, and in this case, we have still a few options available to them. They can also still ping, still get Tassadai's banned, Uther for the support here. I would say they could really go for like a Sylvanas or Vala in this scenario.
Yeah, I think either of those guys. I kind of like the Sylvanas pick due to, one, be a lot of ranged, I guess, casts in the background, if you count Gildy and Cocktail, who, if you hit a good Wailing Arrow on, going to really disable them for a bit, or you can Mind Control to separate someone out, and two, Sylvanas, a huge anti-lane pusher, which is going to be great against Zul.
For the casuals, we still miss a front line, and there's a couple of things that you can do here. We've seen them already with Stitches in previous games, so Stitches would be an option here. You have several ways of how you can play him here, depending if you need the wave clear or if you want to have him as a solo tank. As heals, it's not really a big surprise to see a Rhaegar. I guess they could have tried to go into a Tyrande, but if you play solo support Tyrande, you're more or less forced into the Shadow Stalk and cannot really use that Starfall damage that we have now. Rhaegar for heals makes perfect sense, especially against the setup here. It's going to be great for them. And for the front line, there's a few options that they have. Diablo could be used. They could go into a Stitches. We still have a few other options available as well. But I actually would like the Diablo quite a bit in this setup.
Yeah, Diablo would work well. He's a hero who's going to be able to lock down people long enough for Li Ming and Greymane to basically fire out. They basically aim behind him as he engages. So yeah, that should work out pretty nicely for them. Going to be up to Bakery to keep a lot of people alive in this game, including himself, I expect. Now, Dignitas, they've managed to put themselves in a position where they can pick basically anything and have it work here as their last pick.
Yeah, this is actually true. They just need something that does a bit of damage. And they could go, well, another frontliner. That would be a heavy commitment to the frontline here if they go for ETC. Interrupts are not really available to Casual Logic Gaming, on the other hand. They have Diablo there. But I actually like that ETC a lot. The Haka would be fun too. For me personally, observing the game, it would be great. But I actually think that even an ETC would do a lot for them in this setup.
Well, I think ETC would be better. You set up for Kael'thas to just do anything you want, so you get the guaranteed double Sunwell, if that's what you're going for.
You still have the Li Ming against you, though, with the Wave of Force.
True, but that's basically the only CC, because Diablo's tackle isn't an unstoppable.
Yeah. But as we said before, I already mentioned it in the last draft phase. I would like either Vala or Sylvanas, and they apparently agree with this assessment and go for a Sylvanas for damage. I kind of like that pick quite a bit. They could have run a very heavy front line with a second tank, but I don't really think they'd necessarily need to. It was definitely an option, don't get me wrong, but like that damage from the back line, having the wave clear, and also the added damage with the Barbed Shot on 7 against the Web Weavers is a great tool to have, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely solid. It's a good counter to Zul. It's a good counter to the backline. A good silence onto Rhaegar, and Li Ming is basically going to really cripple Casual Logic Gaming for a good chunk of a fight, which is going to allow Thrall to have a lot of freedom. They have very strong frontline with that Johanna. Like you said, she's very solid with the single tank mail, and they have the great backline engage with her if they choose to bring her with that falling sword.
So guys, we're going to head into game number 2. Keep in mind that Casual Logic Gaming is currently ahead against Team Dignitas here in the second round of the second qualifier for Dreamhack Tour. And we're going to jump into the game now, 2 of the Spider Queens. Let's find out which team is going to be able to take it here. Alright everybody, game number 2 has started on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and well, in this case we're having Dignitas already down 1 game in the best of 3 series, which more or less means that if they are losing now, they would have to rely on the third qualifier for Dreamhack Tour, which would be a huge upset. To the left side of the map, as you can see, we have Bakery for Dignitas on Uther, Mene on Kael'thas, Snitch on Sylvanas, Whoopi on Thrall, and JPL on Johanna. To the right side of the map, on the other hand, Shichu for the Polish team on Zul. We are seeing Zhuf on Diablo, Nika on Li Ming, Leo from Korea on Rhaegar, and Kreku is playing Greymane. For Johanna, we could definitely see the Falling Sword again. There's not really too much that she has to interrupt with the Blessed Shield, and Falling Sword damage got, of course, heavily increased just recently. In terms of builds, we're seeing Paralysis already used for Sylvanas here. Very common to see that. It's basically like a toss-up between seeing Paralysis on level 1 or the Q talent. On the other hand, when we're looking on Kael'thas, the Fell Infusion once again starting the build off.
Yeah, everyone really likes it. Gives Kael'thas some lovely sustain. It really opens up your build into basically whatever. The only thing you're missing out on is the option of going for that convection build.
Yeah, personally I actually like Convection quite a bit. Like that quest talent where you get the extra damage once that you reach 100 stacks is pretty incredible. And I've seen it a couple of times played in scrims, but right now in this case they are focusing on the Fel Infusion instead. JPL under a little bit of pressure here. As expected, Zul and Thrall are making up the bot lane, the solo lane here, and the 4-man rotation has started by both teams. Diablo, of course, a huge threat in the early game. And he's going to try and come true for his name, but Juve is actually about to be the first victim here. Thrall moves in from the bottom with a chain lightning. Well played.
Yeah, nicely done by Thrall there, picking up that kill. And he's still able to move back into the lane in time to continue to lane against that Zul. And, well, Zul is pushing much harder, but Thrall is going to have much more sustain, so assuming he can harass Zul more, he should, in theory, come out of this lane ahead.
Yeah, well, for now, actually, we're having still a slightly inexperience, of course, for Team Dignitas. Shihu at the bot lane is being attacked by Mena, and Snitch is moving in as well. Yep, Mena with nice timing here on his skills, using the gravity lapse just in time to make sure that Zul cannot escape here. So a pretty cool pickup here. 2 kills against 0 already against the casuals.
Yeah, they've been doing a pretty solid job so far, taking a lot of control. But they're still getting a lot of soak in every lane. Greymane in the bot lane is getting all of the XP. But Dignitas looking more solid on this map than they did last time, but there is still a long time to go in this game.
And as I, by the way, mentioned, Reinforces the level 1 talent on Johanna is a great option now that it has been strengthened as well. So a lot of the block talents have been improved during the last patches. But if you're playing on Tomb of the Spider Queen, you're really looking for wave clear. And this is why we still see Nightix pawn taken on JPL with its Johanna. He even goes into the Eternal Retaliation, the cooldown reduction here. So it's going to be a massive amount of siege damage that he's going to be able to dish out here.
Yeah, level 4 is available for both teams. It is the mana tap for Kael'thas this time, giving him that extra mana sustain, whereas Li Ming went for the Triumvirate, so she's going to be spamming out those orbs. Really good for denying that turn area.
Yeah. At the same time, on level 4, we are also seeing on the side of Sylvanas the Withering Barrage. Very popular to go into the Q talents. The option that you have on level 4 is to go into the Lost Soul instead to have the cooldown reduction for your Shadow Dagger, which really helps with the level 16 talent Cold Embrace. Even though the talent was changed slightly, it doesn't affect the entire opponent's team anymore. It's still very good if you want to go for a single target burst, so it's sometimes a good option for Sylvanas to go for that.
Yeah, it is still a vulnerable, and vulnerables are always fun. Diablo being forced to pull back due to him having 13 gems and getting focused down, so he needs to protect those as best he can. Whereas Johanna, currently with a good old 30, so she is going to be looking after those as best she can, eventually going for a turn-in.
And both of the teams are very close to a turn-in. Actually, at this point, both of them could turn in. And we're seeing Jay, of course, attempting to do that at the bot lane in a moment. But Leo is already there, very vigilant and making sure that there's no gem turned in just now. And actually, none of these teams have been managing to turn a gem in yet. But Juve is being attacked and is being hit hard. Once again, Johanna on his heels. Mena is also falling low, though. And Whoopi got locked down by the prison for a second. The Bone Prison is there. They kill against Thrall, but the counter kill against Zul. And Diablo might fall as well. Is able to escape, though. And all of the gems have been picked up. So it's a trade 1-for-1 with both of the teams still looking for the first set of Web Weavers.
However, 20 gems have been turned in by Greymane up in the top lane just before that fight happened. But 55 by JPL alone, and that will be the first set of Web Weavers going over to Team Dignitas.
Burn Flash on level 7 now for Mena on his Kael'thas, and with the first Web Weaver wave, they can of course do some serious damage, especially since they have the level 7 already. The Barbed Shot alone is going to be a great asset for them with that. The cooldown reduction with the battle momentum on level 7 for Johanna lets me to believe that there's a pretty good chance that we're going to indeed see that Falling Sword. There's no real reason to go for the Blessed Shield, and you can get incredible damage out of Falling Swords on the map, which has such small corridors as Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Yeah, definitely could work out well for them. Snitch pulling back, takes a little bit of damage from Greymane, but Greymane has gone too deep. He gets body blocked by JPL and is killed off. And now Dignitas from a one-man advantage, going to push with their Web Weaver, using that Sylvanas to the best of their ability. Going to get a lot of harass. Oh my god, Snitch is out of there, getting chunks by that Arcane Orb.
And the top lane actually being attacked still by the Web Weaver. The mid lane wall has already fallen. That's a solid amount of experience that we're seeing on the side of Dignitas now. They are able to take both of the walls down, the top and the bottom, and that is incredibly powerful for them at this point. So down to the bot lane, we're having Wooby. Couldn't really do too much, but at least made sure that Shihu could not counter push with his Zul. But a very nice start actually with the first Web Weaver wave. This is about as much as you can get.
Yep, it worked out pretty well for them. They got quite a lot of towers. And like you said, the bot lane was cleared up very quickly thanks to Shihu just basically transforming all the minions of Dignitas into skeletons to help fight the Web Weaver. But overall, not bad by Dignitas. Did a good job.
Yeah, I guess with Sylvanas, if you are lucky and you get a really early pick, you can maybe even go for a forward, but it's a little bit unlikely. The first Web Weaver wave is usually a little bit weaker. It's all about like later on if you get the second and the third wave in what you can accomplish with that. And as they're already heading into level 10, if they hit that, they would have a great chance to get a second turn in before we are seeing the first one for the casuals.
Yeah, that is a possibility for them. We are seeing Dignitas trying to guard a turn as much as possible, but Wooby getting killed off here while 20 gems being turned in by Leo from Korea made it just short of denying him with that auto attack. So it is only another 9 gems required for Casual Logic to get their full turn in. They have 6 on Kraku, now 8 on Kraku, and 6 on Nika, who are both going for that top turn area. No, they're going to pull back. They don't think it's safe.
Yeah, and there's the turn-in attempt from Jay, and they will get another turn-in if they get rid of all of the gems that they have right now. And we have level 10s now, with a Falling Sword, as expected. Wailing Arrow, Phoenix, Divine Shield, and Sundering are rounding the heroics up. One more gem, all that they need, and Bakery is already on the job.
Kraku looking to maybe deny, but he's not going to make it. Made a throwing out the stun just in case. And as such, Dignitas, like you said, getting a second turn in before Casual Logic even get there first. Wooby, though, in the bot lane, getting focused down. Nice root from Chico and the damage from Nika, and they're able to get the kill.
Yeah, Juve is there, wants to go for a hit against maybe Sylvanas, does get her. Can they lock her down? They're trying to, 10s on both sides, but the Divine Shield saves Uther in the last moment possible. Snitch escaping, still 4 heroes down to the bot lane, but Johanna is already active in the middle, pushing the waves back. The Web Weavers at the top are aiming straight for the 40, and it's already very low. Thrall coming back to business at this point, and he can start with the rest of the team to push these waves in a little bit harder. But we'll have Kraku dealing with the Web Weaver in the mid lane. So this wave might not get as much as Dignitas was really hoping for.
Yeah, due to being a hero down as well, it's not going to work out too well for them. They're just putting all of their eggs in the bot lane basket, and they're going to attempt to push as 5 and take down this 4, which they might get. And there's the Sundering. They're going to try and catch someone. Falling Sword used as well, but Diablo CCing Wooby, preventing the follow-up damage there, and as such, no one will die on the side of Casual Logic here, but the fort will go down.
Yeah, Diablo wants to go for the counter aggression, though. He goes in for it. Can they lock them down? Diablo gets healed in the last moment by Ancestral Healing. JPL is being attacked now, too. Here comes Zul with the Poison Nova, forcing everyone on the side of Dignitas back. The Web Weaver is still active, but if you look at the experience, we are actually seeing that Casual Logic Gaming is very, very close to Team Dignitas' amount of levels. Especially impressive if you consider that there were already 2 Web Weaver waves against the Polish team.
Yeah, they've been doing a good job of soaking the lanes, especially while Dignitas was pushing there. They lost the fort, but they were able to soak 2 lanes themselves. But Dignitas still able to keep themselves a little bit ahead, which is not surprising after the amount they've managed to kill off here. And we see Juve getting focused out in the top lane. Falling Sword being used. The stun lock is good, but the Lightning Breath forcing Bakery and Maina back. Divine Shield used on Maina. He will survive, and Bakery gonna be dropped low, but will get out.
Very close, though. A clutch Divine Shield and the counter kill against Greyman. Oh, that has to be so frustrating. You nearly get the kill against one hero. He gets Divine Shielded, and then when you are about to kill the second one, you are the one dying. Great play by Dignitas here. 5 kills against 2, but still, the Polish team is fighting tooth and nail now.
Yeah, they're doing everything they can to get kills here, including focusing on Wooby, but the Sundering turns it around, and we see Shichu get annihilated here. Juve also on the run as Snitch giving chase to him. Snitch needs to be careful not to go too far here. He has the Wind Runner, so the double Haunting Wave talent here.
Yeah, double Haunting Wave, and well, again, we are seeing a great engage trying to take a target down, and then just before they are able to snipe it, they lose one of their heroes instead. They lost a fair amount of gems in the last encounter as well, but they get at least the Web Weaver wave. So we are seeing them with a bit of a push happening. It's at least going to open up a bit of space for them. Let's find out how much they can actually do with it. The bot lane, of course, has already been pressured earlier quite heavily by Dignitas, therefore the Web Weaver is not going to get too much value. But the mid lane, that's where they might be able to make a bit of an impression, but they're still lacking the level 13 talent.
JPL, though, with that Knight takes pawn, Eternal Retaliation to reduce the cooldown, and the battle momentum, he was able to spam that there, wipe out all the minions supporting this Web Weaver. And now, though, he has to move up to his team to help protect the Maina, taking a good chunk of damage, but gets Fountain and Bakery, so he is able to be healed up.
They didn't really get anything out of the Web Weaver wave except for creating some space on the lanes and pushing the lanes back. A bit unfortunate right now for Casual Logic Gaming. For Dignitas is of course a great development in this match now. They are still one level ahead, but it's 13 versus 13 at this point, with now Glass Cannon being picked up on Liming. We are also seeing the Unfettered Assault again, the tidal waves for Rhaegar on level 13, after we already saw on 4 the reduction in mana costs. Zul hasn't really made a commitment on level 13 yet, but he will soon. And again, the Polish team is looking for an opportunity to maybe get a pick off here.
Yeah, Zul just decided on the Corpse Explosion, so continuing with his pushing power, which has been working out so far. It's kept them in this game quite a bit and kept a couple of their lanes alive for much longer than they would have otherwise. But Dignitas preventing this turn-in from Juve. 57 gems. If he dies and Dignitas could guard that body, that would be devastating for Casual Logic. But Dignitas doing a good job of delaying this for now, but Nika also going to be able to deny and harass JPL.
Yeah, Juve again with the turn-on attempt, but Booby is there. And against his chain lightning, he won't be able to turn in, that's for certain. At the same time now, both of the teams are just like running around the turn-in spots. We are seeing the attempt by Casual Logic Gaming to get that turn-in finally done. Juve is just moving from the bot to the top, from the top to the bot, always attempting to just sneak it in somewhere, but Dignitas is paying attention.
Yeah, they are guarding this. They will not let Juve get away with it. Actually, there's the Shrink Ray, but the cleanse is enough to protect Juve, and he finds Snitch a bit out of position. Snitch using his second haunting wave that he gets. Li Ming, though, taken down further down the map.
Yeah, Johanna with the falling sword taking her down, but now we might see... the heal is there, but Zul still dies. Well done by Dignitas, a double kill for them. They're attempting to go for Juve now too. Doesn't really look like they are going to get that kill though, at least not with Leo around. Wooby is attempting to move in, but he's a bit too late to really make that happen. Also, Johanna didn't have the falling sword cooldown available, or she would have been able to jump in too. The situation doesn't really change for the Polish team though. They are falling farther and farther behind in this game, and Dignitas is taking a very, very serious lead.
Yeah, they will get another turn-in for themselves. Level 16 is available for them too. Fury of the Sunwell on Kael'thas, and with the extra percentage damage he gets if he hits 2 or more heroes, combined with Johanna's Condemn, he is probably going to be able to get a very decent amount of damage here.
I'm always wondering if that Fel Infusion at level 1 with the added ability power is really going to give you more than Convection if you already see the Flame Strike talents taken on level 7 and level 16. It just feels like you get a lot of damage out of it. The ability power, on the other hand, comes, of course, in quite handy if you are trying to go for all that extra damage on the Flame Strike too.
Well, the ability power you get from the Fel Infusion is very useful. Oh, hang on, we see Falling Sword onto Shihu, and Shihu gets annihilated here. Dignitas gonna pull back here. But yeah, the extra ability power is very nice. It affects all the abilities, including the Heroic, as well as instead of just the Flame Strike. And it also leaves your E still open as a defensive measure, as opposed to constantly being used in an offensive measure and leaving Kael'thas vulnerable.
It's definitely true. Like, if you are able to just like boost all of your abilities, that works, of course, quite nicely for you, especially with that level 13 talent going for the Fission Bomb as well. And if we are looking at the damage output that we are seeing for Kael'thas, they're 32,000, and that is just like a little bit short of the damage that Li Ming so far has been able to dish out. And she got quite a few of resets, and also, of course, this integrates during the entire duration of the game. Let's not forget about that siege damage that Kael'thas also put on the board, thanks to the Flame Strikes and all of his AoE abilities.
Yeah, Kael'thas has been doing very well with this. He is also just very sustained, which is a huge part of this level 1 talent. He's getting mana regen from it every time he infuses. He gets the health back every time he infuses. He is just a very sustained mage here at this point.
Especially on this map, it works out extremely well for him. He has been staying in the back for a long time now. Again, the kill attempt, this time against Shihu. He gets locked down. The Ancestor keeps him alive. Falling Sword on JPL's side is a bit too late to secure the kill here. But the Sundering is activated and they're starting to jump on Diablo. There's no Ancestral anymore. He's dead. He's going to be back in a moment. But still, this is a really tricky spot now, even with the level 16 talents on the side of the Porch team.
And Dignitas guard the gems. They stop them being taken. If they can all get out of here, which it looks like they will. Oh, Maida getting dropped low. Leo is chasing here. But they were able to get rid of all of those gems, and they're back down to 45 for Casual Logic here. That was a huge move by Dignitas.
Dignitas is definitely running the show at this point. We're seeing them taking camps on the map. They can go for another turn in soon enough. They don't really have the count yet, but they are going to get that soon if they burst down a few more waves. And overall, just with 10 kills against 2, they are really the ones to just always call the shots in this game.
Yeah, they have just been in control constantly. They're turning in again. It's not enough for a full turn-in, but it is very close. And instead, they're just looking to continue to control the lanes, and maybe they can just go for another engagement once they have their heroics up. Falling Sword is already up. Yeah,
the cooldown on that talent is incredible. I mean, 60-second cooldown. If you have battle momentum as well, you can reduce that so heavily. At this point, Wubi is attempting to lock down Juve, who is Diablo is zoning a bit. But here comes again JPL. Can use his Condemn. Does exactly that. Uses the slow with the punish. And the kill against Diablo. And this time, he is dead for the entire duration.
JPL getting rooted, though, by that Bone Prison. But JPL getting the coming back in there. Wubby getting the Sundering. We see the silence onto Li Ming, so she can't even deal any more damage in this fight. Very nice play there by Snitch, who's currently chasing Kreku.
Yeah, going for Kreku again. He wants to go for the counter kill, but it's not happening. Wubby survives. More gems lost. They can get the turn in. And before they do, they just move to the boss and try to take that as well. 14 kills against 2 right now. They play an amazing game. They're close, so close to 20. They already destroyed the keep at the top lane. This boss is going to go straight for core, and if they time the turn in properly, they will get a massive, massive push going here.
Bakery barely surviving there. Nika wanted to try and steal that. He is revealed by Snitch, and Snitch decides probably best to take this as opposed to delaying, giving the team time to heal up. But most people everyone just going to go for Fountain. And then turn in, joined up with this Web Weaver.
Yeah, and they are going to get that turn-in completed. They have what it takes now, just barely, but they do. And this is going to push the Web Weavers in as well. The boss is already pushing, and they are starting to move in. The blue Web Weavers, they are aiming for core right now. They want to finish this game. They have their level 20 talents any second now. But actually, we see the Polish team attempting to fight before the 20 hits. Now we have the Storm talents ready. JPL jumped in deep, went for a kill against Diablo that he didn't get. He himself might fall. Thrall is already dead. Here's the Indestructible that got procced. We have still Greymane on the hunt, on the prowl. He's dying though, but Johanna is also eliminated. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of the red team, but that boss is already on core.
Greymane, though, did exactly what he had to do, and that was buy his team some time. This boss is now gone. The Web Weaver has only just arrived. So, as such, the core took some damage, but it wasn't an end-game scenario like Dignitas were aiming for, thanks to Greymane buying that time.
The second keep is still falling, though. It will be taken down, and with only 70% on the core. This is, of course, a dire situation now for Casual Logic Gaming, but you're totally right. They were able to force that battle just before 20 hit and also able to not take it underneath the boss, so at least they got 2 kills and they forced Dignitas back. The game is still not over, and well, if they hit level 20 themselves, there is a chance for the Casuals to actually make some plays here, but right now, of course, with a kill count of 15-4, 2 keeps down and the level 20 talent against them, they are in a very dire spot here, and it's going to be super tricky for them to crawl back into this game.
Yeah, they do have several gems of their own. They don't even have enough gems to have another Web Weaver wave of their own. They're second of the game, and they don't have enough because they keep dying with all the gems they have. But Diablo, very near to having enough souls for a revive. They're soaking up to their level 20s, assuming they can live that long. And like you said, they're going to be able to put up a fight, but they still have to eventually kill at least something of Dignitas's.
And Dignitas wants to exploit the advantage that they have. They move to the bot lane, they have a Siege Giant camp that is helping him out with the push, and they are attempting to go for the third keep. They really want to make sure that every single lane is pushing against Casual Logic Gaming, and right now they're using Phoenix, Flame Strike, everything that they have to just like take down that keep, and they're very close, especially of course with the Sylvanas in their midst. They can simply disable the structures here, which is exactly what they're doing. Poking from a distance is also working out for them. Once again, the Bone Prison attempt here, as we are seeing the Casuals moving in. They are trying to force that fight even without the level 20 talent.
Yeah, they need to be careful here. They're just getting that level 20 as quick as they can while staying very much under their keep, which is basically one hit from death. So this is their last bastion of defense. They're just making sure that their base doesn't die until they have 20, which is still looking so far away from them, even though it's right there.
Yeah, and that keep does not look really healthy. One more poke and it's over, and there it is. The Flame Strike hits home. Mena eliminates it, and this is all of the lanes now taken down on the side of the Polish team. The problem for them really is that they haven't even taken down anything on the side of Team Dignitas. At the top lane, we still have all of the towers in place. In the mid lane, at least one tower was eliminated, and the bot lane, the entire wall is gone. But the forts are all still in play, so that's a huge problem right now. They have at least level 20. Maybe that allows them to win one of those team fights and start to snowball it a bit against Dignitas. But so far, Dignitas has played an incredible game and is looking very much like they are going to take game number 2 here.
Yeah, last line of defense here for Casual Logic Gaming. They need to win one big team fight. Well, actually, probably 2 big team fights at this point, just so they can get through all the structures. But that's what they're doing. They're moving out. They finally have enough gems for a turn. In Dignitas, 13 out of 70. They're quite a long way away. But Counter Logic, they're going to try and move in. But no, Grey Maiden and Lee are a bit split, so they have to pull back and regroup.
It's all about the positioning right now, about the way where you can engage. If you get a good Hellstorm and a Poison Over off, that's so much AoE damage, of course, that they would be able to really do a lot, especially with also Disintegrate. Looked like an attempt to actually go for a bit of a backdoor, but it was already found out. They're moving in against Juve. Here comes the Hellstorm. There are Divine Shield. Ancestral hits Diablo. Divine Shield saves for now Kel'Thas. Juve is dead, so is Zul. And yes, the Disintegrate is trying to at least get a counter kill, but it's already a bit too late. Greymane dies, so does Rhaegar. Li Ming is going to fall as well. The Redemption is going to bring back Uther, and this is the end of the game. 20 kills against 5, and Dignitas is going to force a third game against Casual Logic Gaming.
Yeah, it was a valiant effort, but Dignitas put themselves in a great position, did some good damage with Kael'thas, and were just able to take that game. Very well played by them. And we'll see how well they can, whether they can move on to the semi-finals in the game number 3.
Yep, game well played, and 2 of the Spider Queen ends in favor of Dignitas. Casual Logic Gaming has been defeated. The score is 1-1, and we're going to jump into game number 3 to see who's going to advance to the next round of the tournament. Okay, everybody, game number 3 in the series. Team Dignitas going up against Casual Logic Gaming, and Dragonshire is going to be our final map in the series here. We already have Illidan banned out, and we see a ban on Zul, and the teams are not wasting any time with their picks here. Dignitas picking up Falstad, the god on any map where you need to control several points. His mobility is, of course, incredible, which is actually one of the reasons why we might even see Dehaka in this setup right now. Whereas Casual Logic Gaming, they've been prioritizing Living already quite highly, and they're already thinking about picking her up again.
Yeah, Dehaka amazing on this map in terms of the fact that there are bushes directly outside all of the objective points. And yeah, like you said, Li Ming, very solid. They've loved her. Nika has been very solid on her every time. And Thrall worked very well for Dignitas last time. Still one of the most solid heroes in the game. Going to be good to get him for Casual Logic.
Yeah, pretty high priority on Thrall, considering, I mean, we've seen him, of course, in the past already banned out, picked first, but over the last 2 days, Thrall has actually not been prioritized as highly as he was before. We have, with bans on Illidan, just a little bit of a shift in the meta overall, even sometimes bans on a Tyrande, on a Dehaka, depending on the situation. And I would still expect Dehaka to be appearing in this draft at some point. I like the switch over to Tacita. I really feel going into a Tacita first for Casual Logic Gaming would make a whole lot of sense. You are not really forced to go into a Thrall here. There's still options of what they could take. So I feel in this case, starting things off with a Tacita would give them a little bit more flexibility of what they can pull off in the later stages of the draft.
Yeah, I would agree. The Tacita is very solid. Very similar to how the Koreans started with, what was it, Greymane Tacita usually?
Yeah.
Yeah, so very similar to Star, only prioritizing that Li Ming over the Greymane, probably due to Nika comfort pick and also due to the fact that it's just an incredibly solid hero.
It seems to be really like a personal preference for the team to play with Liming here on the side of Nika, and so far he has been able to do incredible damage in all of the games that they played here. For Dignitas, of course, that opens up a couple of options. Thrall is still available, Greymane is still available. They have a couple of things that they can really pull off here. You have to decide if you want to go for Dehaka, if you risk that your opponent's going to ban him out against you, if you are going to ban him instead. So the game is changing so rapidly, and there's so many options right now that it's absolutely incredible to see how much variety there is and how many options the teams have to just like design their own drafts and go into different strategies with it. And I feel in this case already with the mobility on Falstad, there's some great tools for Dignitas. If they are the ones to pick up the Haka as well, their mobility and gank potential is just going to be out of this world.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that as their second pickup here. They just picked up Thrall, so Dehaka now I actually would not be too adverse to. It's very solid in general. Great map for it, but they're actually looking at Zagara here.
Oh, Zagara would be an interesting pick because what they do with the Zagara is they deny more or less everything that Casual Logic Gaming can use as a good solo laner against Zagara or Thrall. Zul is already banned out. Thrall is usually the answer to Zagara at the top lane. And with this particular setup, I'm very intrigued to see how Casual Logic Gaming is going to react to it. If it's Na'Vi, I would have said, yeah, of course, Alex is going to push Chen in now and is going to play with Chen, but I very much doubt that Casual Logic Gaming is going to do that. So they still need a strong solo laner or someone that can deal with Zagara or Thrall at the top lane, and if they don't do for that, they have to gank a lot more to make sure that that lane is not going to fall eventually.
Yeah, that is really interesting. Casual Logic, though, they're going to very quickly just focus on supports, as Dignitas have not picked one up yet. And Casual Logic will get first pick and already have the Tastar for their own. So they'll have Tastar and a second support and will have denied one to Dignitas.
I have to say that Dignitas' draft is very scary right now, since on Dragonshy in particular, wave clear is also very much important. Not so much in the sense of like Tomb of Spider Queen, but like a few of the aspects are still the same. One of the reasons why you want to get a lot of wave clear on Tomb of Spider Queen is that you want to get control over the two turn-in points. It's a very similar approach to what you do on Dragonshire. You push the lanes back so that you have easier access to all of the shrines, and that really helps you to take control of them during the objective time. And Dignitas has great heroes to accomplish that. Falster can fly in wherever he wants to start a gank. We have Thrall, who is a great lane bully, as well as Zagara, so both of them can really do a whole lot of work in the early game. And Dignitas, they would love to pick up the Haka, but you can really tell that they are afraid that Casual Logic Gaming might actually take him, and that's why they ban him out right now. As mentioned before, one of his biggest assets is the ability to move cross-map within an instant, and if you can go into one of these bushes around the shrines, he has great gank potential. So them banning it out caters even more now to the approach that they have here to dominate lanes, to dominate the entire wave clear, and therefore gain access to the objective.
Yeah, their complex are really solid right now. They've removed one of the only heroes who can really counter Falstad in terms of maneuverability around the map. They have great lane control, like you've already said with the Thor and the Zagara. This is a scary, scary lineup from Liquid and from Dignitas, but they also have the incredible team fight potential with the Maw, with the Sundering, and with whatever heroic Falstad wishes to take.
In Casual Logic Gaming, they go for a Tirana Tassadar composition. By no means a bad draft, but on the map itself, it just feels that Dignitas has the upper hand right now. With them about to pick up Muradin, they have, of course, that roaming potential that we've been talking about. And what they have to do is they really have to get good value out in the early game, roaming from lane to lane and putting pressure on the heroes there. If they don't get early game kills, they would be in a bit of trouble. They actually start to reverse it a little bit and pick up Johanna instead, because she at least can give them a little bit more wave clear. They have that with Tassadar too, but that opens up now Muradin for Dignitas. This is a very scary situation for Casual Logic Gaming.
Yeah, they do have a good amount of engage themselves here with that Johanna, with Tyrande. They have some very scary engage, but Dignitas just looks too controlling right now. Muradin, one of the hardest to gank warriors, and he also just adds a huge amount to any team fight in general. I don't know, I think at the moment, depending on what the last picks are, Dignitas' draft just looks incredibly good to me.
Yeah, it's insanely good. It's really catering more towards the map than what Casual Logic Gaming is drafting at this point. So depending on the map, I would give even a bit of a lead to Casual Logic Gaming, but not for Dragonshire. And now Uther is about to be used for Team Dignitas to give Thrall that Divine Shield on top of everything else. That's a great pick here for them. There's very few supports they could take at this point. I mean, in theory, you can think about picking up a Brightwing for global mobility, but they don't really need that. They have Wave Clear with Thrall, with Zagara, with Falstad as well. I mean, that Boomerang build is incredible when it comes to siege damage and bursting waves away. And Casual they actually do it. I was talking about Na'Vi and them picking up a Chen whenever they end up in this situation, and it feels like Casual Logic Gaming is actually saying, guys, we have to. We need a lane bully. We need someone to be able to deal with this, and they're looking at Chen now.
Yeah, and Chen would make a lot of sense. He can be used to separate out individual people, which is going to be pretty essential, and that is what they lock in. So they have two of the most shield-heavy warriors to at least block a little bit of that damage, and they have some good engagement with that barrel, with the Falling Sword if that's what they go for, or the Blessed Shield, depending on how they feel like. And they have at least a tiny bit of counter for the lane control. Tastar with the lane clear, Johanna with lane clear, and Chen with the ability to sustain through basically any lane against anyone.
That makes the situation a little bit better for Casual Logic Gaming. I would still give a lead to Team Dignitas overall. Most likely we're going to end up with Thrall versus Chen at the top lane. Zagara is probably going to move down to the bottom lane with the rest of the team. I could even see an adjustment on Falstad going into the Season Marksman auto-attack build again. Of course, Wave Clear is great, and you can play the Boomerang build, which would be amazing here. But going up against Chen and Johanna, he has the option to go for the auto-attack. I at least expect him to go for Giant Killer on level 13 to put a bit more pressure on the front line. But this is definitely a setup in which Dignitas has a lot of mobility, a lot of wave clear, a bit more than Casual Logic Gaming. But I really believe that the Chen as the last pick was the best thing that Casual Logic Gaming could have done in this situation.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, it's definitely powerful. The Giant Killer, I also agree that even if he goes for an ability-based build, auto-attack build would be quite nice, but Johanna has the option of the Reinforce now, Chen has the option of Swift Reflexes. There is a fair amount of defense against that, and Zagara is going to be doing a lot of auto-attacking herself as is. So if I had to guess, I'd say he's going for the Boomerang build, but he definitely has that possibility.
I would say Boomerang as well, but I actually don't believe that Reinforce on Johanna is going to be a problem for them, because I think there's no way that you give up Night Take Spawn here. You have to have the wave clear, in my opinion, on her. But either way, like Dignitas with a great draft, Dragonshy is the third map, so guys, we're going to jump in. We're going to find out which team is going to claim victory on map number 3 and therefore advances to the next round of the tournament. Game number 3 on Dragonshire. Dignitas versus the Casuals. To the left side, it's Bakery on Uther 14 Dignitas. We have Wooby on Thrall, Snitch on Zagara, a lot of wave clear, a lot of lane bullies on their setup, with Muradin being the only real frontliner here, the only tank, played by JPL. Mena on Falstad on the other hand. And to the right side of the map, we are seeing the Polish team. We are seeing Casual Logic Gaming with Juve on Johanna, Shirhu on Chen. Very important pick for them to at least get some lane presence on the top. We're having Kreku on Tyrande, Leo from Poland on Tassadar, and Nika is playing Li Ming in this setup.
It's been a while since we busted out the Leo from Poland joke. We probably have a whole new wave of viewers who don't get it.
Well, they can still read the name, so I suppose that they're going to get it if they pay attention to it.
Yeah, that's true. Alright, well, for now, we are going to see a huge engage onto Snitch to start this off. He gets healed from Bakery though, but the magic missiles will kill him off, and that is first blood on Zagara.
Yeah, well played by the Polish team, and this is actually one of those scenarios that you oftentimes see happening when a Zagara is on one side. You know that Zagara is trying to set up the creep tumors at the beginning of the game to get a bit more vision, especially at the top lane. It helps, no matter where Zagara positions herself later, it really helps to just like keep the solo laner at the top a bit safer. And a lot of teams are trying to meet that by just moving into those bushes where Zagara is going to try and position her trade. And that's why stuff like this is happening where we see early game kills. But as expected, we have the top lane with Thrall and Chen, and we're seeing now Zagara at the bot lane and trying, of course, to push this in heavily.
Yeah, and Zagara is actually helping Dignitas a little bit with those roaches she just used, holding the Dignitas lane back a little so that it arrived that little bit later. So Dignitas are going to be fighting more on their side of the map, so their roaming squad is going to be a little bit safer and not be in danger itself.
As expected, we also have now this bit of the gank potential in the early game, the rotation with 4 heroes between the, well, on the side of the Casuals. Like, keep in mind that this is a very different style of how they are playing the game right now. As you can see, we have a lot of wave clear and we have a lot of just like lane presence on the side of Team Dignitas, and this is why they already control both of the shrines. On the other hand, we're seeing Casual Logic Gaming countering that with a combination that is really attempting to lock down heroes early on and get a couple of kills in, and this is why they are the ones roaming between mid and bot with 4 heroes, at least initially. So right now it's all about trying to at least get one of the shrines, and that's what Chen is doing at the top lane against Thrall, but it's a very different approach to the early game in the map here, and that makes for a very entertaining setup.
Yeah, it is very entertaining indeed. Right now, we are seeing a bit of engagement onto Tyrande in the bot lane. Getting focused down, gets the stun onto JPL. Kraku gets out on next to no hit points. And JPL takes an arcade orb for even trying.
The top lane at the same time, we have Wooby still going up against Shihu, and Wooby went on level 1 into block and then onto Envenom, so he can use that Envenom to put a little bit more pressure on Shihu, who's just hitting the trade the entire time. The bot lane fight is also starting, and we have the swift reflexes taken after Regeneration Master. A huge deal is also then later on that Wooby, of course, if he goes into Giant Killer, can use the triple hit on 16 to apply that 3 times to Chen with his heavy hit point pool, and the entire time Dignitas in control of 2 shrines, trying to put the pressure into the mid lane, where Tassadar is desperately trying to make sure that nobody is going to claim the Dragonite.
Yeah, but Tassadar is about to be met by some resistance here. 3 people, but they're not going for the Dragon Knight because Snitch is going to lose it in the bot lane because he is outnumbered. They're instead going for at least the kill, or at least the pushing Tassadar out of lane. And actually, this Dragon Knight statue is controlled right now by the casuals, so they can attempt to move in, but Dignitas with a good rotation down to bot lane. They want control of this shrine, and they will at minimum neutralize it.
And look at all the creep that we're seeing down here. It gives so much vision over the bushes and also over the objective that it's very easy for Dignitas to just move in. They know exactly what's happening, they know exactly where the opponent is positioned, and that's how they can always move into the objective and try and take it. But losing fights like that, that's an issue. Double kill against them, and Snitch nearly dying too, barely healed and moves back, but that's a huge problem for them right now. 5 versus 3 for a few more seconds on the map. If Chen can claim the top, then they are going to be in trouble in the middle, where Mene is already positioning himself to make sure that he can interrupt the potential Dragonite channel.
Yeah, he's here ready for this. That he gets stunned up by Kraku. Nika looking for a good angle here, but Maida getting pushed out of here. This is the chance here right now for Casual Logic Gaming, and it looks like they're gonna get it. That is the first Dragonite of the game going over to Kraku.
Yeah, that double kill at the bot lane enabling Casual Logic Gaming to get this particular Dragonite right now, and they get some actual value out of it already. They are a level ahead right now, Tetcher. They're going for the second tower, and we have still at the top lane Chen bullying the lane, pushing Wooby back. This is starting to become a little bit tricky here for Dignitas. They are on level 7 by now though, so they have the extra talent, but the situation is a bit difficult for them. They are not too far behind yet, but they have to be very, very careful at this point.
The Dignitas Heroic Power Spike, though, is a little bit more severe than the Casual Logic. Casual Logic is strong, but Dignitas is very deadly with heroics like Mighty Gust or Hinterland Blast, Sundering, and the Devouring Maw. So that's going to be very important for them. So as long as they can survive, and as long as they can do stuff like that, killing Shihu up in the top lane, then they're going to be good at moving into the later game.
Yeah, the level 7 was also a very strong talent on the side of Casual Logic Gaming. Let's not forget about that, since we have Kala's Embrace hit at that part. So this is going to be a huge asset for them. Definitely true, talking about the power spikes here. Level 16 is going to be very good for Chen as well. Let's keep that in mind, thanks to the pressure point. The control during the fights is going to be much better for him. But, of course, heading into level 10 a bit faster might even end up with Casual Logic Gaming getting another Dragonite. If they can pull that off, they might be able to snowball it a little bit, but Dignitas is already working very hard to prevent that. They're closing in on experience.
Yeah, and we are going to see level 10 very easily available for Casual Logic first. Dignitas is going to at least attempt to get a kill to push themselves towards it, and they're going... No, they're not. Shiko getting shielded by Tassadar, tagging through that with his brew. He's able to get out of there without going down. And as such, level 10 is hit. It is the Blessed Shield, but it got cleansed so quickly by Bakery.
Yeah, very nice cleanse here from Bakery. I don't really feel they would have gotten that kill either way. It was a bit too far out. I was actually very surprised to see in this case Johanna still committing to the cooldown. But we have the barrel now, which is of course a huge threat. And with the double support, it's not really a surprise to see Starfall being used again. So the damage output on Tyrande is going to skyrocket, especially when we have the level 20s coming in the later stages of the game. The level 10s for now might give them... Nah, it's not going to really give them a Dragonite or anything. They weren't able to force a fight here with the ability, and now we have Dignitas also with heroic abilities on their side.
Yeah, Dignitas looking very solid with their heroics. The Mighty Gust is chosen over Hinterland Blast. Other than that, we are looking fairly usual. The Divine Shield, Sundering, Devouring Maw, and the Avatar coming in for them.
Yeah, at the top lane again. Chen going up against Thrall, but there is Muradin now too. Waits for that stun, not hitting that yet, and the barrel has been committed to. Yeah, unstoppable here, of course. Nearly the kill against Chen still. That was a close call, and that Sundering just barely didn't hit because he used it a bit too early.
Yeah, he hit it for damage, but you are unstoppable in that barrel, so Shiku going to be feeling very lucky there to be alive, and now he's going to be able to stay in lane and regen up with his regen master.
Yeah, down here on the other hand, Li Ming finds herself in trouble. Nika, oh, blown to pieces. And the Mighty Gust isolating two more. Good Starfall on the other hand, but Kreku is still about to die. He's down, a double kill, a triple kill as Tassadar falls. And they are in a great position to pick up a Dragonite now.
Yeah, and this is actually what we were talking about. That power spike coming in from Dignitas. They're able to take some good fights, and their heroics make fights just go in their favor pretty much constantly. And also, nice CC trade on that Li Ming, just able to burst her down.
Yeah, at this point, we're actually having Bakery in position down at the bottom, getting the second shrine over here. Snitch is already attempting to get the Dragonite. Juve is there. There's the attempt to just channel that once more as Snitch moves in, but a nice shield left from Juve prevents it. Top lane is being fought over. Snitch is picking it up, though. Very well done. And now we're seeing, actually, that Dignitas is starting to take a slight lead in experience here.
Yeah, they're starting to get rolling with the talents that they have. They're able to push forward a little bit more aggressively. They are down Avatar and Divine Shield right now, whereas the only things that are down for Casual Logic are the Starfall for the next 10 seconds and the Disintegrate for the next 3. So the Snitch is going to be able to do a little bit of harassment, but Dignitas not looking for fights right now. They are just continuing to split push. Thrall still laning up against Thrall and still losing, but he is able to do quite a bit of harassment.
There's a lot of towers down, and level 13s are there with the Shrink Ray, with also the extra damage, and that's the Giant Kill as expected on Thrall, on Falstad. That was an obvious pick here for both of these heroes, and especially once that we have the triple strike on the 16 for Thrall, he's going to be a huge threat to that Chen and also Johanna. We're having still another 10 seconds on the Dragonite, and Snitch is very eager to put some damage on the fort itself. With everybody else now moving in too, JPL has to be careful, but so does Chen, who was nearly taken out here and had to go away once again with his barrel, barely escaping that attack.
Yeah, that barrel really being used as a good escape tool there. And Snitch diving the mid lane, doing some more damage to the fort a little bit earlier, due to the fact, for those who don't remember, the Dragon Knight was changed recently, so it's still going to get affected by the movement speed debuff of forts and keeps, but it is not affected by the attack speed debuff. So you can dive a fort a bit better and still do a good amount of damage to it.
Yeah, we have Shihu actually in this case up at the top. Yeah, Mene, as we said before in the draft, he's always going to look for these ganks, but Shihu is already expecting something along those lines, so he moved back in time. We are 13 versus 13 now, which gives us the glass cannon as well. And we're having another Dragonite soon going to be started again, but for now it's all about the push. Vision still granted at the bottom, Snitch in a good position here. Overall experience is still very much the same, but the kill count 4 against 3, very even as well. But I still would give a bit of an edge here to Dignitas. They're the ones who are, after level 10, still calling most of those engagements.
Yeah, they still seem to have the most control here. Wubby, though, his lane has taken one of the biggest batterings here by Chen, and we see a lot of people hanging around this area. They may be looking for a bit of a bigger push to try and catch Wubby out here. Whereas, we actually see a load of Dignitas are in the bot lane, so they would not be in the position to help if that was the case. But it looks like instead, we are just going to see the big rotation from Casual Logic down to the bot lane to defend against this push from Team Dignitas.
One of the things that we haven't really seen yet is Chen being able to use his barrel to just like isolate a target and take it down. Bakery, of course, in those team fights is always going to try and cleanse a target and make sure that that doesn't happen. He has that Divine Shield ready as well. But Chen didn't really get a lot of value out of the barrel yet, if you disregard for a moment his ability to escape ganks, which is basically what he used the barrel for so far.
Yeah, he hasn't used it as a separation tool or that much in a fight at all, really. It has just been an escape mechanism for him right now. But he has done his job in the top lane, at least, of keeping control up there. And he has very much won the push war versus Wubby for the moment. But Wubby, with that Giant Killer, is now able to really turn this on its head. And look at how much damage in the top lane he's just done to Shihu. while trading with his own self-sustain to come out ahead on health.
Yeah, his damage output is actually incredible at this point. Thrall is at 37,000 already in damage, thanks to all that poke that he has against Chen. I mean, a lot of that damage, of course, just results in him using Chain Lightning and Envenom against his opponent at the top lane in the one-on-one situations. But this is going to change significantly now. Big commitment at the bot lane now with the level 16 talents that we're having. And as expected, we see Tempest Fury taken for Thrall to push these tanks back a little bit more. Here comes the cleanse on Falstad. Well done, but Mene is still being affected by the barrel and had to be divine shielded. Immediately being jumped again as Shiro moves in. The 16 on both sides right now. The pressure point for Chen gonna help him to put incredible pressure on Mene himself. And Dignitas is isolated and loses Sagara.
Very nice force wall by Leo there, able to pick off Snitch. Mena was completely isolated that entire fight by Chen as well. Dignitas had some serious problems there. Currently, it is a 1-for-0, but Dignitas still the 4 versus 4 down here because Chen has gone to the top lane to try and set up the Dragon Knight, but Li Ming with the damage, and she is getting her resets. We've already seen Thrall go down. JPL getting chased as well. He will die too, and Nicker is so good on this hero.
That Starfall damage once again. Oh my god. And then Li Ming with the resets. Now Leo moving into the middle. That was a great fight. First of all, the cleanse that we saw against the barrel. But then we had also Divine Shield to be used because there was just nothing that they could do to really save Mena from the barrel. At this point, a 5 versus 3 situations. But we have still the Dragon Eye taken. Lockdown attempt against Mena. That didn't quite work. He's already being called back here. But this is starting to look a little bit dire for Dignitas after they lost this many heroes and have now to deal with the Dragon Knight as well.
Yeah, everything's starting to come together for Casual Logic. Dragon Knight, though, getting focused down there. Yeah, everything's coming together. The Tyrande dropping some severe damage here. Nika, second he gets his resets, is just blowing everything up. And Juve has just been doing an amazing job in the front line. And Sheho finally coming into his own, just bullying Falstad in the fights.
And talking Falstad, you can really see that with the Boomerang build, his role has a little bit changed. He's not really that damage dealer against single targets. He's looking at most of the siege damage here on this part, because he's attempting to make sure that the wave is ready for them. Nice gust also, once again, to just push the opponent back. Starfall got a bit more value for Tyrande, who's already at 29,000 damage thanks to that. That's the same amount of damage that we see on Falstad, by the way, and it's only a little bit shy of the damage that Li Ming has been able to put out.
Yeah, and Dignitas already splitting up into the other lanes right now. Just trying to get as much XP as they can. One person in each lane except for mid because they wanted this camp, but in comes Casual Logic and they do steal the camp. Dignitas will kill this off very quickly, but it's more about the principle of Dignitas not having it.
Tetcher, Dignitas, they lost yesterday in the first qualifier against Na'Vi without winning a map. They represented Europe at the Spring Global Championship, and now in the second qualifier against Casual Logic Gaming, they are one level behind on the third map. They can of course still turn this around, but things are starting to get a bit more difficult for them here. If that level 20 hits for the Casuals, then they have a chance to actually eliminate Dignitas from this tournament.
Yeah, and that would be a huge upset. They would have a last chance qualifier, as Dignitas, I believe, at this point, with a semi-final, quarterfinal. Oh, hang on, Snitch getting barreled here, taking so much damage. The more catching no one, and Snitch gets deleted here. Maida on the run, but we're seeing Johanna chase it down. But the CC not hitting through the Iron Skin, whereas in the mid lane, JPL getting chased by Schickel and Nika.
Oh my god, no! What? Jay misses the jump and dies. Mighty Gust was also used, by the way, as Zagara got barreled away to try and save her, but it did not do enough. And up here, a mistake by Jay costs the Muradin to level 20 any moment now. There it is for the Casuals. This is the worst case scenario for Dignitas. This last fight, that isolation by Shihu with a barrel and the kill against Muradin could have actually cost Dignitas the game in the series.
Yeah, and that would be... This is very surprising. They are putting up a fight, though. They're not giving it up yet, just soaking 420 and trying to keep themselves in this game. But the zoning and the focusing from Casual Logic has been insane in this game. They've done a really good job. and they may just kick Dignitas to the last chance qualifier here.
Yeah, this is looking incredible for them. They have the Celestial Wrath right now. That 30% damage increase is so strong. And it's also another Dragonite. We are currently 16 minutes into the game and we have level 20 for them. They need to take down a keep though to open up a lane so that they can win the game later on after a fight. Dignitas is fighting tooth and nail to stay in this, but this is not going to be easy. Not at all. Here comes Casual Logic Gaming. Good stuns already. They're looking for that kill. They're looking for an opportunity to maybe do a bit more than only take the keep down. Where's that Starfall? Not used yet. Top lane is being pushed against the Casuals, but they are aiming straight for that keep in the middle.
The Dragonite going down very quickly, but the Starfall is good. Nice cleanse on Wooby, saving his life this time. Very nicely played, but JPL getting focused down here. He's also able to escape. The keep goes down. Dignitas keeping everyone alive here despite the best efforts of Casual Logic. But now they are completely on defensive, first keep of the game, and Dignitas have yet to kill a fort.
Yeah, they have yet to take down a fort. They might be able to succeed at the top lane here. Look at that damage output, by the way. 51,000 damage on Liming, and now that Tyrande has the Celestial Wrath with a 30% damage increase, it was only one Starfall since then, but she is still at 43,000. More damage than Falstad. Nearly the same damage that Thrall was able to put out for Dignitas. The situation here for the Casuals is amazing. Dignitas, they have to wait for 20. They have to be very, very patient now. They have to take the 20 and then try to turn it around with good team fights. And it's not going to be easy for them.
Yeah, Dignitas will, however, be able to get this camp this time. So that's going to be at least a little pressure off in the bot lane. But Casual Logic already here, so they're just going to clean that up and put even more pressure on Dignitas. Take down their last remaining fort here. Thrall has, however, run off to the top lane. Dignitas is just going to have to sacrifice this while Thrall gets them level 20 by killing off this fort and probably clearing some of the minion wave as well.
Yeah, so level 19, not 20 yet. Fort at the bot lane falls. Thrall has to move back, and he has to do that soon. Another gate is about to be opened up at the bot lane, and Thrall is still at the top. Now, finally, they have the 20. This is the moment for him to really retreat here. Redemption used, a double bolt of the storm for Thrall and Zagara. We're having rewind for Murden, and the epic mount. A great talent on this map. Amazing talent for Falstad. The mobility could secure them a Dragonite a bit later on.
Yeah, it's up to Maida here. He needs to make some good plays, but we also have Bolt of the Storms on the Thrall with that Sundering and the Zagara with that more. If they can, for once, dictate a fight, then Dignitas might be able to turn this game on its head. And now they have an open lane where they could actually get to a keep, as opposed to having to push through a fort, which is exactly what they need. They won't have a keep down, so they are going to really struggle with a win condition, but at least they're in a slightly better position this time.
Dignitas did definitely not expect to go all out here on the third map against their opponents. A strong opponent, of course. The former game has 2 players here doing amazingly well, but this is the chance that they have to eliminate Dignitas at this round. And Dignitas is currently waiting for a chance to jump in. Always Bakery with the cleanse ready. Once that Shiru starts to jump in, will be going for the flank. They're using the Sundering. Here's a good zoning Starfall. Immediately the barrel being used as well. Nika is in a little bit of trouble. Has to move away here. Wooby jumps in and tries to take him down, but the Shield of Tacita is there. Mane flies away, repositions himself. JPH jumps behind Li Ming, takes her down. The stun immediately against Toronto now too. Shiru is still moving away. Snitch is so low, but he still survives the 4 versus 5 situation now in favor of Dignitas, and they try to go for the Dragonite. No additional kills taken yet. Top lane being pushed heavily in the meantime by another camp here, but the fight at the bot lane is not over yet.
That was much, much better by Dignitas here, using the Bolt of the Storms on Thrall especially to get into the backline. The epic bout was used by the Falstad to get into the backline, to just get past that Chen that's been such a pain to them and actually take a fight. But Dignitas right now, they are outnumbered in the spot lane. Falstad and Thrall went to defend, but now they have to leave the defense and come back down to help because the fight's still happening.
Yeah, and the bot lane is still being attacked. Falstad is moving back now, but the towers are already falling. Li Ming will be back in 16, 15 seconds. And the bot lane is still being assaulted, and they have the well. They have it right there. That's a huge asset. But the Dragonite in the mid lane captured by Wooby.
Now JPL is able to get out as well, so they were able to tank that damage. Falstad just going to let the Dragonite do its thing, heading straight back to top to defend that lane that's still pushing. It's got through the tier 2 towers and the gate, and is moving on towards the keep. He's finally going to be able to clear that up, and then we'll be able to fly back to join his team. But that Dragon Knight getting really focused right now.
Yeah, that Dragon Knight is getting wrecked at this point. Half HP after a second where he exposed himself a little bit too much. What like these fights that we're seeing right now, it is so close. The lead still for the casuals, but Dignitas, they have smelled blood in the water and they are trying desperately to come back into this.
Yeah, and they're not even going for the full dive onto a tier 2 here, but they've taken down another fort. They've opened up another avenue that they can try and move through, and they're going to get this last fort. Maybe, no, looks like will be going to be taken down before that happens. We're still able to get a lot of damage off, and with the rest of his team here, they might be able to make something out of this, but fire on the fort takes it so low, but not enough for the kill.
Yeah, Shihu going balls deep there with his Chen. He knows that it's not going to be easy for his opponent to take him down. Now we have again everything reset though, and Whoopi is of course going to look for that flank again. Important for him to also take down the well. There was a huge asset in that last fight over the shrine at the bot lane for the casuals. Now they're at least losing the outer tiers, and that's important for them. With the tier 1s gone, most of them at least that is, at least the sustain on lane is going to be a little bit more difficult for the casuals. But again the attack here over in the middle, as we're seeing another attempt to go for Bakery this time. Can't cleanse yourself. Mene with immediately a Mighty Gust in the Sun Ring from the backline as they're jumping in. Bakery on the other hand is incredibly low and is immediately jumped again, heals himself. Snitch jumps out to run, they're dying. What a fight by Dignitas. They somehow keep everybody alive, but Whoopi is getting attacked again as Shihu jumps in, wants to go for Thorn. Bakery, everybody's going for Nika. They kill. It's a double kill. Dignitas all of a sudden is back in this.
They've managed to turn it around here with a great devouring maw by Snitch. He was able to get out as well. They take down... Nope, Indestructible. They're going to wait for their damage once Indestructible is expired to take down Juve. And then they can take that fort. Oh god, Falstad taking a lot of damage there. But he's able to get out. They'll be able to clear up these Siege Giants and take that bottom fort at minimum, but they're going for a keep.
You got to be kidding me. It wasn't only a Bakery that barely survived. Snitch somehow bolted out with like no hit points at all, survives as well. And just like that, we're seeing Dignitas back to... They're losing hit points on the core though in just a moment as the Catapult is still pushing the mid lane. But they don't care. They want to go for core now. We could have just seen the fight ending in favor of Dignitas after all the casuals. They were so close. But with 5 heroes on the core, this is going to be game Tetcher.
He's trying to delay it with the barrel to Ronda's hit too. And he's going to try and delay, but it's not enough. And that is GG.
No way.
Dignitas take the game somehow.
What a match. The two